Hey guys, this is Joelle from Scratch Farmstead, and today we're going to be making a tallow-based deodorant. Since we discovered tallow for skincare a few years ago, I've been slowly transitioning pretty much all of our skincare items to be tallow-based because we've just discovered how much our skin really loves tallow and does so well with it, and how just nourishing it is for skin. The properties in tallow, those fat-soluble vitamins, are super compatible with our skin, and it just soaks in really well, and it's really beneficial for skin. Plus, I love that we can get it here locally. We can get it from really good sources at local farms, grass-fed tallow. So it's kind of a win-win there. I can get it locally, and it's so good for my skin. So over time, we've been switching to making tallow shampoo bars, tallow lotions, and soap, and everything else. So our latest thing that we've switched over is making tallow-based deodorant. And so we've been making our own homemade deodorant for years and actually found it to work really well. I know people say, or maybe have had a hard time making their own homemade deodorant and actually have it working. But once you kind of detox your pits, and so you can do that actually by putting some bentonite clay in your pits for a couple weeks just to kind of detox them and get all the gunk that might be clogging them out, and then transitioning to a natural, maybe homemade deodorant. That usually works really well, but give it time. It's going to take time for your body to adjust. I know for us, we went through a couple week period there where we smelled pretty bad before our body really kind of got all the junk out and got really used to using this, and now our body's totally used to it, and it works really well for us. And so making this tallow-based deodorant is really simple. All you need is a few ingredients. It's just gonna be your tallow, and then I use coconut oil as well, and then a tapioca flour or arrowroot flour. So we just have tapioca on hand and not arrowroot, but either one would work great, and that's for kind of pulling out the stink. Another thing you could use is cornstarch, but I like to avoid cornstarch as much as possible because it's generally made with genetically modified corn, and so we like to stick with tapioca or arrowroot flour. And then your baking soda is also going to help kind of pull the stink out, and then beeswax to bring it all together. Now we have found that we just like to make our deodorant put it in a little jar and then kind of use a finger to put it on that way. But if you prefer to use a stick instead, you can purchase sticks on Amazon and other places and then pour it into the stick. And we've tried that before, but we've just found that we prefer to put it in a jar and just use our finger to put it on. But if you are going to use a stick, the only difference I would say in this recipe is to increase the amount of beeswax you're going to use, probably from 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, just to give it a firmer texture, and so that it's easier in that stick to then apply and isn't too soft. So this recipe makes a 1/2 cup, which is perfect for these little 4-ounce jars, and that's kind of one person's worth of deodorant in our house, so I like to just kind of divvy it up that way, but you could easily multiply this recipe if you want to make a larger batch. And we will have the link below to the full blog post with all the details and all the recipes where we get all of the different ingredients, and all of that will be linked below. So let's go ahead and get started. All you're gonna do is basically measure out the ingredients, put it in a heat-safe glass container like this Pyrex measuring cup. So measure out, pour it in here, and then we're gonna put this inside of a pot filled with water on the stove, because basically all we want to happen is we want to just melt all of the ingredients. We want the tallow to be melted, we want the beeswax to be melted, and we want it all to come together. So we're just gonna measure out the ingredients, put it in here, and then melt them. So it's just gonna be 2 tablespoons of your tallow. And I can also link below as to how you render tallow to make sure you do not get that stink in your tallow, because there's different methods. So how you're gonna render tallow for cooking is very different than how you want to render tallow to use in skincare products. Because when you use tallow in skincare products, you don't want that smell, so you're going to use a wet method of rendering, which just takes a little bit longer, but it's very easy. So I'll link below to how you do that. So we're going to have 2 tablespoons of tallow, and because this is it was in the refrigerator and it's hard, it's firm, I don't measure it out exactly, but roughly 2 tablespoons of tallow is what we're doing here. And then it's going to be 2 tablespoons of your tapioca flour, we're doing 1 teaspoon of baking soda. One tablespoon of your beeswax. This just helps to bring everything together. That nice texture. You're gonna add 2 tablespoons of your coconut oil. It's a brand new jar, so it's a little harder. Alright, and that is it. That's all you need to do, and then we're just going to take this over to the stove and we are going to melt all of our ingredients together. Alright, so we're back. It took about 10 minutes to get all of our ingredients melted together. You just want to make sure all that beeswax and that tallow is melted in, and then that's it. All you're going to do now is you're going to take your mixture and you're going to pour it into your little jar that you want to use. These half-cup mason jars work really, really well for this, so just pour it into your jar. And then this is going to take a couple hours just to cool and to set up. So wait a couple hours before kind of putting the lid on it and wanting to use it. Just let it get firm and set up. But that is it. That is how you make tallow-based deodorant. So if you're looking for more tallow-based skincare options, we have several videos on other things, but I'll link up to our tallow magnesium lotion. It's one of our family favorites, a great way to get that nourishing benefit of tallow lotion, but also adds magnesium, which is something that most people are deficient in. And so we'll link up to that video next, and we'll see you in that one.